to Acquisition Innovation. To tell the truth, I'm your host, Mike Smith, and I welcome you this evening. I'd like to introduce our celebrity truth finders. We have Miss Shakira Shaq McCants, Miss Lisa Acquisition Akers, and last but not least, Mr. Terrence T-Dub Woodley. All right, so our panel of celebrity truth finders, your job is to question our panelists and see which one is actually telling the truth. So let's get moving with this panel. Two of these three panelists are acquisition innovators who have actually and legally performed the acquisition innovation that they described. One of them is not. Your job is to determine who is not telling the whole truth. Let's get started. Acquisition innovation has been around since 1984, when the Federal Acquisition Regulation was codified in Title 48 of the Code of Federal Regulation to create a uniform structure for many federal agencies. On this show, our favorite section of the FAR is 1.102-4E, where the government acquisition team is encouraged to innovate. FAR 1.102-4E reads as such. If a policy or procedure or a particular strategy or practice is in the best interest of the government and is not specifically addressed in the FAR, nor prohibited by law, statute, or case law, executive order, or regulation, government members of the team should not assume it is prohibited. Rather, absence of direction should be interpreted as permitting the team to innovate and use sound business judgment that is otherwise consistent with law and within the limits of their authority. Contracting officers should take the lead in encouraging business process innovations and ensuring that business decisions are sound. Welcome to Acquisition Innovation. To tell the truth, here are our acquisition innovators' stories in their own words.
I am the acquisition innovator. I am the real deal. These other two, they're fakes. So let me tell you my story. So when I was a contracting officer in a DOD organization, I was assigned to an organization overseas. When I arrived there, I realized there was a lot of problems with market research. So as I started to do my review of the organization just to see how we were operating, I discovered that we were woefully inadequate in doing market research. I realized that everything that we were doing, we were handing out to two contractors who were trading companies. And in this expeditionary environment that I was in, the trading companies essentially did everything. So if you needed cell phones, you needed dining facility support, you needed pens, paper, they bought it. But doing my review, I realized everything we were doing, probably 50% was going to these same two vendors. So what I did, I took a look at everything and just decided we needed to create our own market research capability. So I grabbed one of the software innovators that was actually working on the site where we were at, and asked him, I said, hey, I've got this problem. Here's my challenge. We don't have enough competition with what we're trying to do. Can you build me a database to capture all the key information that I need to know about a vendor? And sure enough, the guy says, yeah, he did it, and came back and it gave me the information, all the key information that I needed to understand, one, who I was buying from, two, how much I was paying for it. I could look at the quality of the delivery. I could look at the quality of the service that was being performed. So when he created this, it really, really helped me. So I am the acquisition innovator. I did this in an expeditionary environment. I didn't have a lot of help. So these other two, they're not telling the truth.
I am the acquisition innovator. Many years ago, when I was a contracting officer, I awarded a staged contract. Not the kind that you put furniture out and sell your house, but a staged contract. So, I issued a broad agency announcement. And I did that because we were looking for innovative, highly deployable, efficient method of actually cleaning up oil off of the ocean's surface. When I did that, I announced it on the government point of entry, and we received 12 concept papers, very short. We looked at those as an agency, we evaluated them, and we decided to ask 5 of those companies to come in for a full proposal. Now, that was invitation only. After they proposed, we took a look at that. We invited 2 to actually participate in an 18-month pilot program. In that pilot program, the companies were actually able to talk with our government end users in order to fully develop their prototype. At the very end, we did deploy one of those solutions. It was an Illinois company that actually manufactured oil spill and environmental equipment.
Wow. We have commanders, we have contracting officers, and they say they're innovators. I am the real deal. I was part of a team that does acquisition, not the commander, not the contracting officer. I'm going to talk to you about a different way to do business, a way that is innovative and achieves results. Hire better contractors. Operate as a team. I was part of that team. Consider the project risk. What are you up against? Set clear goals that a contractor has to meet. Set clear goals that your team has to meet. Provide incentives to achieve the goals. Measure progress against the goals and reward achievement. So how do you do all those things? Well, first you have to talk to industry. Once you listen to industry, you can figure out, should I do a phased solicitation? Should I just do a one solicitation? We did a phased solicitation. Past performance to us was extremely, extremely important. Why? Because past performance is the best indicator of future performance. We did interviews. We called people. We got on their calendar. Once we figured out who our 2 to 3 best contractors were, we invited them to step 2. Step 1 was just past performance and their management approach. How did this mega project fit into their workload? Were they going to have to bring in all new people? Would they have some work that was ending that this would just flow right into? Thinking ahead, thinking about risk. The second phase, we wanted their conceptual design. We wanted not only in writing, but we wanted them to talk to us about it, to give us an oral presentation about it. There was 2 to 3 people, 3 people that participated in that. Our specifications for this project were 16 pages long. We were renovating 4 million square feet of space. 16 pages. We didn't have to tell the industry how to do the job. They do it every day. That's how they make a profit and stay in business. We also set a different kind of contract type. 0 profit, 0 fee. We had something called an award fee. Today, sometimes people think that's a bad thing. But if it's used right and if the team is using it, it works out very well. During our quarterly award fee meetings, if the contractor didn't hit something, we rolled a little bit of award fee forward. Let them pick it up in the next quarter or when they achieved what they were missing. That's how you do a successful project. That's innovation. That's thinking outside of the box and doing what it takes to make your project successful. Thank you for your time. And these guys, they're out to lunch. Have a great day.
Okay, so what questions do you all have for our panelists?
So this question is for Herb. What were the benefits of this database?
Well, the benefits, I can think of 4 right off the top of my head. One was we had a better understanding of the market that we were operating in and the vendors that were out there and were available. Secondly, because we had all this vendor information, everything got to be more competitive, so pricing was a lot better. Third was, I think that the quality of what we were getting was better because we didn't have reliance on these two particular trading companies that we were using. And then fourth was because we were the executive agent for the country that we were operating in, everybody coming into the country to procure goods and services always came to our office to get a vendor listing so they knew exactly where they need to go to procure goods and services without wasting a lot of time. So those were the four things I could think of, just kind of right off the top of my head.
I also have a question for Herb. Herb, you stated that you were in a contingency environment. And I know that when you do a database or something like market research, that can be a pretty complex project. How long did it take you all to get done?
It took 2 weeks to get the database done, in part because we were in a contingency environment and everybody was working pretty much 15 to 18 hours per day. So I asked the software engineer, would he build the database, and he agreed to do it. And the good thing that I used to kind of expedite it was because I had to always run downtown for to do business with the various vendors. I would always entice him by saying, I will get you something to eat from the local economy. So that was an incentive for him to get it done really quick.
Thank you.
Jackie, you were a little vague on details there. It's sort of sketchy. I want to know, what agency did you support?
I actually supported the Department of Interior, but it was a collaboration between DOI and NOAA.
I also have a question for Jackie. Jackie, you had stated that during the full proposal phase, it was invite only. Did you have any issues with Competition and Contracting Act?
Actually, no. Under FAR Part 35, Broad Agency Announcements, I can invite everyone to submit content papers. But it also gives me the flexibility under FAR Part 6102 that it would be considered competitive when I invited those fewer companies to submit a full proposal.
So this question is for Mark. Did you really conduct past performance interviews in lieu of questionnaires?
Sure. Questionnaire is just a questionnaire. It's a piece of paper. I might take some time to fill it out. I might not take some time to fill it out. When you truly talk to people and get them engaged, you truly can get out of who you're talking to, what they're thinking, what they thought of that contractor's performance. So yeah, we did conduct interviews. Probably about 45 minutes for each interview. A lot of time, but well worth it in the end.
So now, Mark, you swore that you actually executed and legally performed this. So I want to ask the question, because you said you used a ward fee and you allowed it to roll over to the next period. I guess my question is, I don't think you were allowed to roll over a ward fee forward to another period. Did I hear you correctly? That's what you did?
You did hear me correctly. And at the time, you were allowed to roll the award fee forward. That changed in 2011 around that time frame, where you were no longer allowed to roll the award fee forward in accordance with the Federal Acquisition Regulation, otherwise known as the FAR. Thank you.
Okay, that is our 3 stories of acquisition innovation. Our celebrity truth finders had their chance to question each innovator. Now, let's see what everyone thinks. For our NCMA GCMS audience, please cast your vote in the comments section of our NCMA GCMS chat to vote for who you think has not executed the acquisition innovation they described. Feel free to say why you think that person has not executed the acquisition innovation they described. For our LinkedIn viewers, please vote below this post on our 7 Cents Consulting LinkedIn site before we reveal the acquisition innovator imposter on Thursday, December 9th at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure you get your comments and your votes in before then, and tune in to see if you were right.